You know, every year on February 21st, there's a really special celebration in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. It's all about honoring a man who was so much more than just a saint. He was a poet, a teacher, and just a pivotal figure whose spiritual influence is still felt centuries later. So today, let's dive into the incredible life of Sri Purushottama Dasa Thakura. So, okay, we know he's a big deal. A whole day is dedicated to him. But who was he, really? What makes his story so amazing? Well, in this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers of his life, his teachings, and his pretty profound spiritual identity to really understand the legacy he left for all of us. All right, to get a handle on the saint, we first need to get to know the man. So let's start at the beginning, with his life on Earth and the absolutely incredible family he was born into. He wasn't born into just any family. I mean, the scriptures use this specific term for his lineage, Mahabhagyavan, which literally means greatly fortunate. And yeah, they were part of the Vaidya, or physician caste, but their real fortune, their true wealth, was all spiritual. Both his grandfather and his father were known far and wide as incredibly devoted souls. But hold on, because it goes even deeper than just being a devout family. According to the sacred texts, these weren't just ordinary people. They were seen as eternally liberated souls who came to Earth for a divine purpose. Get this, his father, Sadashiva Kaviraja, was considered to be the Gopi Chandravali, and his grandfather, the Gopi Ratnavali, both of them were intimate companions of Lord Krishna in the spiritual world. So with a spiritual lineup like that, is it any surprise that Purushottama Dasa's devotion seemed like it was just baked into his DNA? The texts say he was completely absorbed in service from the very moment he was born. And his spiritual guide, the revered Lord Nityananda Prabhu, saw this incredible, unwavering dedication and took him right under his personal wing. Now, this deep, personal devotion wasn't something he just kept to himself. Nope, it flowed right out of him, creating a real, practical, and lasting impact on the whole community through his teachings and some very tangible contributions. And what's so beautiful is the simplicity and power of his philosophy. Through his own writings and just by his personal example, he laid out this really clear path of bhakti yoga. It all boiled down to three core things: be humble, surrender to a higher will, and constantly chant the holy names. It was a spiritual path that was really designed to be accessible to absolutely everyone. And his impact wasn't just philosophical, in the clouds. He was also a builder. He established the worship of several sacred deities, creating these physical centers for devotion to make sure these spiritual practices would be kept safe for generations and generations to come. Okay, so we've looked at his historical life, his practical work, but now we get to the most profound layer of his identity. And this is a concept that kind of transports us from the world we know into this eternal spiritual realm. It's amazing. This right here, this is the heart of his story. See, beyond the man we know as Purushottama Dasa Thakura, he's understood to be Stoka Krishna, one of Lord Krishna's 12 main cowherd friends, or Gopalas, from the spiritual world of Vrindavana. So think about what that means. He wasn't just a devotee of the Lord, he was an eternal friend to the Lord. So why is being a cowherd friend such a big deal? Well, to really get it, you have to understand this concept of Sakya Rasa. It's the spiritual mood of friendship. I mean, think about it. Most worship is based on awe and reverence, right? Looking up to the divine. Sakya Rasa is totally different. It's about serving and just hanging out with the Lord as an equal, like a best friend. That makes it an unbelievably intimate and super elevated form of devotion. So how does the story of an eternal cowherd friend who lived centuries ago still matter today? Well, his influence wasn't just left in books. It became this living, breathing legacy carried forward by his family, his disciples, and the very institutions he built. His spiritual lineage was passed right down through his son, Kanu Thakura, and he inspired a ton of disciples. Among the most famous were people like Sri Madhavacharya, who actually married the daughter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and Devakin Nandanandasa, who wrote a really important book that basically cataloged all the saints of the tradition. This timeline really shows his living legacy in such a powerful way. The actual deities he established have been on this incredible journey for centuries. They had to be moved several times as temples were destroyed, or even as rivers literally changed their course. As you can see, from where they started in Beladanga Grama all the way to their current home in Kandude Grama, their worship has continued, totally unbroken, to this very day. When you look at it all, The story of Sri Purushottama Dasa Thakura shows us this one person who was a historical figure, a spiritual teacher, and an eternal friend of the divine, all at the same time. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does one person's devotion from so long ago create a legacy so strong that it not only survives centuries, but can physically travel through time and space and continue to move and inspire people right now, today?